What if violence didn't corrupt humanity? What if it created it? What if the reason humans conquered the planet was the very thing we now call evil? Because for almost all of our history, kindness did not keep you alive. Violence did. And buried inside every war, every revenge, every empire, every murder is a survival instinct older than civilization itself, an instinct we never escaped. We only dressed it in laws. And if that's true, then one terrifying question remains. Are humans violent by accident or by design? To answer that, we have to go back, far before nations, before kings, before religion, back to a world where being human meant killing or disappearing. For most of human existence there was no police, no prison, no governments, no moral systems, only hunger, predators, rival tribes, and a brutal equation: us or them. Imagine waking up 200,000 years ago. You don't know peace, you know danger. A broken leg could mean death. A stolen food cache could mean your children starve. A stranger in the distance might be another human, or a threat. And often, those were the same thing, because early humans didn't evolve in safety. We evolved in competition, for territory, for mates, for status, for survival. Violence was not always cruelty. Sometimes it was protection, sometimes justice, sometimes food, sometimes survival itself. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Groups willing to fight often outlived groups that weren't. Aggression could spread, cowardice could vanish, which means natural selection may not have just favoured intelligence. It may have favoured controlled violence, not random rage, strategic brutality. And that changes everything. Because maybe violence wasn't a flaw in human evolution. Maybe it was one of its tools. But survival violence is one thing. Why would the same species invent torture, conquest, genocide? That's where the story gets darker. Because humans didn't just use violence to survive. We learned to use it, to dominate. We are not the strongest animals. We are not the fastest. We don't have claws. We don't have fangs. And yet we became the most dangerous species alive. Why? Because we did something rare. We made violence cooperative. A lone chimp can attack. But humans organize, coordinate, plan, remember, and punish. That changed violence forever. Suddenly conflict wasn't instinct. It was strategy, ambushes, raids, coalitions, territory wars, long before empires. There were human groups killing over land and resources. Some anthropologists believe warfare may be nearly as old as civilization itself, maybe older, and strangely, violence often bonded us. Shared enemies create tribes. Conflict creates identity. Us versus them. That ancient line may be one of the deepest codes in the human mind. And even now, it still runs. Politics, religion, sports, nations, online mobs, the pattern survived. Only the weapons changed. But violence wasn't just external. Some of it was social, humiliation, status battles, dominance. Because in human groups, power often meant survival, and violence could buy power. That is where aggression stopped being reaction and became advantage. And once that happened, history bent around it. Empires rose through it, civilizations were carved by it, and entire worlds were built on organized force. But if violence helped build civilization, why do many humans feel sickened by it? Why do we also carry empathy? Because that is the paradox. The same species capable of murder is capable of sacrifice, which means something deeper is happening. We may contain two ancient systems at war, and that war is inside us. Here is the strange thing. Humans are among the most violent creatures, and among the most cooperative. We kill, but we also rescue strangers. We wage war, and run into burning buildings. We invent torture, and human rights. How can both be true? Because evolution didn't build one human nature. It built competing instincts, aggression, empathy, dominance, care, revenge, compassion, and context often decides which one wins. Under fear, violence rises. Under scarcity, tribalism hardens. Under humiliation, revenge feels righteous. But under trust, cooperation explodes. That means humans may not be naturally violent or naturally peaceful. We may be naturally conditional, and that is far more unsettling. because it means under enough pressure, almost anyone can move toward brutality. History has shown that, again and again. Ordinary people have done extraordinary horrors, not because they were monsters, because they were human. That may be the most disturbing truth of all. Violence is not alien to us. It is possible within us, always. But there's something even stranger. Some scientists think humans may actually be becoming less violent. If that's true, then why does violence still feel everywhere? And what if modern civilization hasn't erased our ancient instincts, only restrained them? At first glance, maybe. We are less likely to die violently than many of our ancestors. Feuds faded, states replaced revenge, laws replaced blood debts. Civilization may have domesticated part of us, but did it remove violence or redirect it? Because violence didn't disappear, it scaled. From clubs to armies, from raids to industrial war, from domination of tribes to domination of continents. Ancient aggression met modern technology and became catastrophic. Maybe our instincts stayed old, while our tools became godlike. That may be why violence feels uniquely human. Because no other species combines primal impulses with imagination. We can hate abstract enemies, fight over ideas, kill for symbols. Animals rarely do that. Humans do, which means violence in our species is not just biological. It became cultural, mimetic, ideological, passed down, learned, glorified, sometimes worshipped. And yet, the same species created peace treaties, medicine, philosophy, art, and moral revolutions. Which means something extraordinary may be true. The story of humanity is not violence winning. It is violence being resisted, again and again. That struggle may be civilization itself, and that leads to a deeper question. If violence helped make us human, can we ever fully leave it behind? Maybe the question was never, why are humans violent? Maybe it is, what do we do with the violence we inherited? Because pretending it doesn't exist is dangerous. Understanding it may be how we control it. The same mind that can turn fear into hatred can turn fear into courage. The same tribal instincts that create enemies can create belonging. The same aggressive energy that fueled conquest can defend justice. Maybe evolution handed us fire, and civilization is learning not to burn ourselves with it. Because violence may not be humanity's destiny, but ignoring it could be, and maybe that is why this question matters so much. When we ask why humans are violent, we are really asking what humans are. Predators, protectors, destroyers, builders, maybe all of them. Maybe that has always been the story. Not angels who fell, not beasts pretending to be civilized, but a species caught between brutality and transcendence, trying, generation after generation, to become something better than what made it survive. And maybe that struggle is what makes us human. But here's what I can't stop thinking about. If violence helped shape our species, what other dark instincts built the modern human mind? Fear, jealousy, dominance, even religion? Some of humanity's biggest mysteries may begin there, and in the next story of we're going even deeper, because one ancient human trait may have made civilization possible, and almost destroyed us. And once you see it, you'll never look at human history the same way again. If this changed how you see what humans are, subscribe to Human Origins and stay for the next chapter. Because this channel is building one big story. The story of how humans became human, and the next chapter might be the darkest one yet.